We are back in black in the building. Shout out to everybody out there at the Core Plantation doing what they need to do to survive. Man, we are here. We are back. Shout out to everybody out there that's handling business. Yes, there's a little echo. I'm in another room trying to get it set up. Shout out to my brother Dave from No Compromise, my brother James Youngblood. Shout out to everybody out there that's handling business. Did Jesus come back today? God damn. Man, we are here. We are back. Shout out to the homegirl, Shawnee from Philly. Shout out to the homegirl, Erica, Florida in the building. Shout out to the homegirl, Melina, North Kakalaka in the building. Shout out to my brothers David from No Compromise and my brothers James Youngblood. I know it's a little echo and staticky. I'm just trying to get this room set up. I'm in another room. Man, so once, you know how this goes when you're in the room and you're trying to get shit set up, so you know what it is. Man, we got a great topic today. We got a great topic. It's gonna be a real quick one. It's about your boy Dr. Dre co-signing Eminem as one of the greatest rappers ever. Dr. Dre has now become the greatest Sambo ever, so let's get into it. Man, we had to cut that down. Even though it is a little echo in here right now, but I'm gonna get it together. This is what happens when you're in a new room. I gotta put some stuff and some sound barriers up, you know what I'm saying, to get this shit popping. But right now, I just thought, hey man, this is what I've been doing, man. Get shit, you know, popping, moving, doing what the fuck it need to do. Shout out to the homegirls, Latanya, Miss Tiny, Arizona. Shout out to all my people in Vegas. You already know what it is, you know what it ain't. Man, I had to do a little something and change up and move rooms and do things like that. So that's why you're getting all this echo. Because you don't get no echo. I had it in a nice little room before, but I'm like, I need a bigger room, bigger space. And plus I need to hang my paintings up. David, I'm gonna get some more paintings from you as well. So shout out to my brother David. Shout out to my brother James Youngblood again, man, Texas in the building. So shout out to him. So let's get into it. Your boy Dr. Dre is talking this bullshit about Eminem being the greatest rapper and all this other stuff. Dr. Dre is the greatest Sambo producer of all times. Stop with the bullshit, Dre. Man. And this is why Eminem acts the way that he acts. This is a motherfucker that said nigga every chance he got. Nigga. And no, not just a formal apology. Stop doing our music and go over there and do rock music. Stop doing that. And we need to, as a people, start to have a different understanding of what is going on. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, we're so busy taking up for Eminem, we're not looking at all the things that he's done to destroy our community. What do you mean destroy our community? Having other racial groups think that they could dominate our space in hip hop. That's to us, for us, and by us. And this is something that me, David from No Compromise, James Youngblood, we definitely need to have alive. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait. And I got this, you know, I'm trying to set this room up and get this shit, you know, popping. So I think we definitely need to get alive going, David and James, man, because this shit is ridiculous. And see, white people gonna be like, well, Dr. Dre said, Dr. Dre can't rap. Stick to producing, nigga. You can't rap. Don't nobody want to hear you rapping. You never wrote a rap in your life. Somebody's always writing rap for you. So how the fuck you gonna tell a nigga about rapping? So you trying to say Eminem is better than Rakim? First of all, Eminem is not better than Nas, period. He's not fucking with Nas. I'm gonna do a hard stand on that. He's not fucking with Nas. If you listen to the Stillmatic album, Nas did a whole song in reverse. Stop. And what Nas talks about resonates with black melanin. It raises our vibration. That shit Eminem is talking about ain't raising nobody's vibration with white folk. And white people do not possess the natural law of rhythm. That's why they don't have no rhythm. They can't clap on beat. They can't play on beat. They can't do shit without watching black folk and mimicking us first. So I don't want to hear that bullshit at all. Here, let me see. Yeah, your boy, man. I said, now Dr. Dre. There's been a lot of shit going on. I see the NBA, now their viewership is down, so now they finna try to bring back some of them old school rules because motherfuckers ain't watching NBA no more because y'all trying to cater to the Eurocentric type of basketball play. Because if you went back to the 90s, wouldn't be a whole lot of Europeans in the league. They wouldn't survive. They wouldn't last. Stop. I'm tired of y'all comparing LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Stop. Stop with the bullshit. Y'all know what the fuck is going on. So that's why I say what I say. You know what I mean? So it's like, hold on, let me see. See if I can fix it a little bit so it ain't so echoey until I get this done. But yeah, man. Shit, I think that might sound a little better. But yeah, man, we definitely gotta look out for that stuff, man. I wasn't surprised when Dr. Dre said that. Dr. Dre's a bullshit motherfucker. Stop with the bullshit. You got all these niggas around here that got more talent than a little bit, but you want to tout. That's because you make the most money off Eminem. Stop. He made your job easier, so you want to hold him up as the greatest lyricist. Dr. Dre, you need to stop smoking whatever you're smoking and be into your family and understand that white boy don't give a fuck about no niggas. That's why he hid behind Sway and hid behind everybody else because of that. You know what I mean? So it's a lot going on, man. I was even looking at how they was you know what I'm saying, just transition. I was looking at what's the young NBA basketball all-star Jalen Green, and he had that baby with the older bitch. Y'all older bitches know what y'all doing. Stop trying to trap these young niggas. Then y'all get mad when these niggas go have a whole bunch of different type of bitches in their life, and then all of a sudden you want to cry foul. And This generation is very, very athletic and very, very much knowing what their worth is, but they're lacking intrinsic value. You say, why you say that, Warren? And I'm saying this because that dude, Jalen Green, having a baby by, what's her name? Drea Michelle. That girl's 40 years old. These young niggas don't have a clue. We have to start mentoring and teaching these young men. What possibly would that bitch have in common with a nigga in his 20s and she 40? Stop. She knows what she was doing. Stop it. I just think a lot of the time that it's so much things that are so accessible. That's why I'm looking like, you know, just not to hop back and forth, but David No Compromise, you know this. James Youngblood, you know this. Niggas do not listen. Like Lil Boosie said. Lil Boosie was like, niggas from the hood do not listen to no Eminem. Thank you. I remember when I was listening to Eminem in the early 2000s and the 90s, I remember a lot of niggas was like, you be listening to this nigga? I'm like, I just like the production. I never cared about what he said. I would just listen to Dre's production. And niggas would still be like, yeah, I can't fuck with that. And then niggas would be like, man, lyrically, he cold. And I used to just be like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I just don't think he is what people think he is or put him to be. And that's why a lot of white folk, inner city white folk, they think that they could be the naysayers of hip hop because of people like Dr. Dre. You know what I mean? Because of people like Dr. Dre making Eminem feel like he is the gatekeeper of hip hop. No, you're not. You're not better than Royce da 5'9". But this is the type of stuff that happens, man. That's why I'm trying not to laugh, but I just think it's so funny. I'm looking at Dr. Dre and I'm like, Dr. Dre, you need to stop. So you didn't have Cube in a group, but you want to have tout him, man, get the fuck out of here. And Eminem, you need to stop. See, this is what I don't like about Eminem. And this is what I like about, shout out to Benzino. Eminem, you could stop a lot of this shit. You could come out and be like, hey, y'all need to stop. I am not the greatest MC of all times. I don't care how many records I sold. I'm not better than Rakim. I'm not better than Jay. I'm not better than Nas. I'm not better than none of them. So stop doing that. And whoever is saying that, well, Dr. Dre said it. He said, what he should say is, I love Dr. Dre and I'm grateful for what he did, but I am not better than those MCs. So you need to stop. And all you white people out there that are thinking that because of me, you would be better than the average black MC, you need to stop. This is their culture. It's not your culture, and you need to understand what the fuck is going on. And I really, really feel like that should be said, but nobody is forcing him to say that, so that's why he's acting the way he's acting. That's why when I look at things like the Democratic Party too, I've been watching a whole lot of shit this last couple of years. And the main thing that I think that me and David and James need to talk about too is this hip hop shit like we've been doing in the past. And we need to talk about the Democratic political poison that they're putting into the atmosphere. The Democrats are so out of bounds and don't know which way is up. They just doing anything. You got crazy senile, Alzheimer's Joe Biden going to black barbershops. He don't even know where he at. I could have swore he was like, hey, how do you like working at Home Depot? Nigga, you at a barbershop. You know what I mean? So I really feel like we have to do a better job of start educating our people and doing what we need to do to survive. And what we need to do to survive is we need to stop playing the political game unless we get tangibles. I saw this thing with Rob Schneider, how he made a joke about, California's passing a law about reparations and for people who were never slaves and for people who have to pay who never owned slaves. Rob Schneider, stop. You claim to be Jewish. So if you claim to be Jewish, then that happened and took place in Europe. It did not take place in the United States of America Incorporated. And what happened to our white Jewish brothers and sisters was vile, vicious, was an atrocity. That was horrible, grotesque what they did to the white brothers and sisters that are from Jewish descent. And we have tried our best to be sensitive to that situation. And we have tried to be understanding of it. And we have paid reparations, even though that took place in Europe. Slavery took place in the United States of America Incorporated. We built this landmass for free without repayment. If it had not been for foundational Black Americans laying the groundwork, there would be no Mark Zuckerbergs, or there would be no Facebook or any of those things. Because guess what? Without cotton, without the transatlantic slave trade to bring over more slaves to the United States of America, because we were already here, had it not been the chain gangs and building the prison industrial complex, and had it not been us starting the railroads, building the bridges, building Washington, D.C., doing all the work, there would be no United States of America. And another thing too, let's get on this. And we're going to get on this real good so we can have an understanding. George Washington, Martha Washington's husband, in this book, Never Caught: The Untold Story of Una Judge, and I quote, said, "I don't want any white indentured servants. They're lazy, they complain, and they don't get the goddamn work done. Bring me some niggas. They don't complain, they do the work, and we can pay them pennies to the dollar, and they'll get it done in a quickly and timely manner. So don't bring me no white indentured servants. Bring me niggas. White people complain and are lazy. And I quote, George Washington, go get that book, Never Called, The Untold Story of Una Judge. So I don't want to hear it. So when people be trying to tell you that stuff and people be trying to like make you feel like, oh, well, you didn't own, you weren't a slave and all this other stuff. And then that's when you say, well, the white Jewish the white Jewish community that's inheriting those reparations, they weren't in the Holocaust either, but they're still getting paid for it. So since they're still getting paid for it, why is it that foundational Black Americans can't get paid for it? You know, there's a lot that we are going to be discussing in 2024. You know what I mean? I highly suggest that, you know, if you can, start traveling, start looking at other places, move to, you know, I always challenge people when you're living, excuse me, if you're living in a state, you know what I mean? You're living in a state and you like it, still travel, diversify yourself, go to places you would never go to. And see how they live and see the dynamics, see the social game rules, see if they have state tax, if they have no tax. What do they do with the infrastructure of that money? Is it clean? Is it not clean? How is the natural resources there? Do they have plenty of water? Do they have farms? Look at those things. You're going to say, why, Warren? Because as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, study the white man. You better study them motherfuckers. Because you go to these different states and see how their infrastructure is, you're going to be like, wow, their infrastructure is totally different from what I thought it was. Because let me tell you, if one day they just woke up and said, okay, we're not only going to give you our reparations, we're going to give you a bunch of land mass and y'all have to cultivate it. You have to do the groundwork. You have to build. You have to do the construction. How will we do that if we're disaggregate people? That's why we cannot have the four-wall effect. We have to start listening to each other, man. Listen, that's why y'all always hear me quoting David No Compromise and James Youngblood. I always quote them, man, because I be listening. I'm telling you, when I read Neely Fuller Jr.'s book, the United Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code of Ethics, I read it and I was understanding of it. But when I was having those Twitter spaces with David, that's when I really started to understand it and it resonated with me. I remember we was having a subject. I'm gonna keep bringing this up. I remember we were, me, David, I think James Youngblood was on it too, and we was talking, and Dave was like, Warren G, bro, you like, my nigga, you need to understand. I'm like, what's up? He's like, bro, the white supremacists are the masters of confusion. And I was just like, damn, this nigga's not lying. He's like, they're the masters of confusion. They're the masters of stock, confusion in stock and bond. You know why I know Neely Fuller Jr. is right? And the way David said it, he said it with such conviction in his heart. He didn't say it like he didn't know. He said it like, nigga, like, Warren, you need to understand how masterful they are at confusing everybody. See, he took it a step further than what Neely Fuller Jr. Neely Fuller Jr. just gonna tell you it and he gonna move on. David broke it down like, my nigga, you don't understand what's going on, Warren G. And you know what? You know why I know he's right? Because I remember when I really, really started getting into stock. And I really started getting into the bonds and the mutual funds and the IRAs. And really, when I was trying to learn that, man, you call T. Roy Price and Edward Jones and all these big time, you know, accredited stock firms, they don't tell you a motherfucking thing at all. They don't want to tell you anything. They want to act like it doesn't exist. They're very, very elusive with the information that they give you. I remember I called Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, and I started buying stock through them. Man, they was charging $6 a trade. So every time you wanted to buy stock, they charge you a trade. Then you go to E-Trade, it's the same thing. And then you call these people and ask them for advice. They act like they don't know what's going on. I had to keep calling to learn about mutual funds, because they just wouldn't give us the information. So finally, I bought Mutual Fund Tips for Dummies. I read that book, and I read Stock Tip for Dummies. And when I read those books, I just kind of like had to teach myself and learn it on the fly. But now that I know this stuff, it's like, damn, he's not lying. David's not really. He's basically stating fact. Like, bro, they're just gonna confuse you. I remember I had this conversation with my siblings about like, don't let these people lie to you about credit. These people try to lie to you and tell you that, credit is this and credit is that. And it's so hard. And you listen to all these scams about people like, oh, you want to build up your credit? Just pay us $500 and we'll get your credit clear. I told my siblings, go get you a secure credit card. Charge, pay it. Watch your credit score shoot up. And you can ask all my siblings, they're going to be like, man, my credit is bomb. Because it isn't that way anymore. They just make that knowledge esoteric and they try to hide it from black folk. That's what I'm under the assumption of. And the reason why is because an OG told me that too. An OG brother told me that. He was like, Warren G, you don't need to do all that for your credit. Back then, they was checking your credit score every 90 days. Now they check it every month. So it's even easier for black folk to get better credit because they check it every month. So it doesn't take so long for you to build up your credit. But they don't tell us this. No, they want you to go pay $500, $600, $1,000. And I'm not mad at my black folk for charging to help build people's credit. Because, black folk, we have to get paid too for our services. But I think for the most part, I think what we need to start doing is we need to start having intrinsic value in the information that's being given to us. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine if Dr. Dre did an album with Rakim. I don't think he would be saying Eminem is the greatest rapper. Imagine if Dr. Dre had that same success with a black rapper like that he had. And he did with Snoop. But now you're going to tout Eminem as the greatest rapper? Stop, Dre. Stop. You're being disrespectful to the ancestors. And let me tell you what's going to happen when you're being disrespectful to the ancestors. The ancestors are going to rise up and they're going to take everything from you. Straight up. They're going to take it little by little. They already destroyed your family. They're going to keep coming after you because they're going to let you know the ancestors, this is sacred land. We built it from the ground up. You think our ancestors is going to allow a black man to go on TV and give all the credit to one single white person who called us a bunch of niggas because he was mad at black people? And think they're going to allow you to get away with it? Stop. That's not how it works, Dr. Dre. It's just not how it works. Even I remember Timberland was like, oh, Justin Timberlake is my best friend. No, nigga, all your success was with Genuine and Missy, not no damn Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake do music without you. Ain't nobody buying that shit. Justin Timberlake know that. So we have to start having intrinsic value in who we are. And the last thing I'm going to say, last thing I'm going to say is this. We have to start listening to one another, whether we like it or we don't. And you're like, why? Why are you saying that, Warren? Why are you saying that? Because a lot of the times people have great information and we're looking at the messenger. We're not looking at the message. Just look at the message. It doesn't matter how fucked up it is or how it sounds. If the messenger is giving you the right information, take the information and run. Don't not listen to the information because you don't like what the messenger is saying. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't like what Cat Williams was saying, but Cat Williams was saying some real shit. That's why when he went on Joe Rogan's podcast, everybody thought Cat Williams was going to act a fool. And he had Joe Rogan looking like a dumbass. I just think that we're trying to constantly find the white savior. That's what I think. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Just tell me. Tell me if I'm wrong and tell me that what I'm saying is wrong. I'm looking at this shit and I'm like, man, this motherfucker done lost his mind. You know how black folk are. Black folk will diagnose you in a minute. If you say something off the wall, you say some bogus bullshit, niggas gonna be like, oh, this man done lost his mind. Oh, that man crazy. You know how we do it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be all over the place. It's just things that I've observed. Go travel, go do different things. Go move forward in your plight of what you want to do. And go look at other places and see how they do it and look at the infrastructure. And the reason you say, well, why are you saying this? Go look at these people's economics in their state. See if there's an economic boom. If you can, buy a property there. If you can. I felt like the generation before us did a terrible job setting us up for success and setting us up for traveling, going and experiencing other states, going to other states and seeing how people live, going and seeing how their economics and their state taxes and what they're doing with their dollar. You need to experience that, because if you don't know. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of the times, you know, I feel like a lot of the times that we as a people spend so much time arguing with each other, we don't even want to have the time to possess the intrinsic value in who we are. You're like, what do you mean, Warren? What do you mean intrinsic value? I mean like this. When people are saying stuff and making moves and doing things, just take a step back and look at what the fuck they doing. And you borrow from them and add to your shit. That's all. And give up the information. Like me, when motherfucker, look, anybody in my family know, hey Warren, how you do such? Oh, nigga, you do such. I don't be hiding information. You know what I mean? For what? You want people that have this information to be armed with it. It's like building your credit. Man, when I told my siblings that, I'm like, you know how easy it is to build your credit? They like, nah. I'm like, no, nigga, don't let these people fool you. Just like stock and 401k. We have been trained and we have been socialized that stock, 401k, bonds, like, oh my God, you gotta have thousands of dollars. No, you don't have to have no damn thousands of dollars to invest in yourself. Don't let these people fool you. When I tell people about life insurance, you don't have to have thousands of dollars to invest in yourself. That's a mantra, and that's an imagery that has been created to keep you away. It's like an esoteric imagery. It's like, well, I'm gonna frame this narrative that it's so difficult for you to buy a home. It is not difficult for you to buy a home. The difficult part is keeping it, not buying it. So don't let people fool you with that. And don't let people fool you with buying stock and 401k and all. That's some bullshit. They just got people thinking that because we are so afraid of losing our money, and that's true. But scared money don't make no money. I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. This is why you have to have intrinsic value in yourself and your people, and you have to look at your people in a great light, whether you like it or not. You have to do it. Because it'll retrain your thought process of vibrating at a higher level when you're around your people, and not just around your people, when you by yourself, period, and you're around other racial groups. That's why when I'm around other racial groups, like, I think they can kind of tell for the most part that, nigga, nothing's gonna waver with me. I possess the natural law of rhythm. You better go read the Kabbalion. I possess all those features, so that's why I'm not tripping. Motherfuckers can say the aliens built the goddamn pyramids. You can say that all you want. I'm gonna say the Moors built them. But anyway, let me tell you what I mean by scared money don't make no money. This was a long time ago. This is about 10 years ago. Right? Las Vegas, Nevada. James Youngblood, David Uncompromised Shiny, Erica, all y'all out there, my siblings. Look. Okay, you have different type of homes. I can't speak for Texas and Georgia and Philly and everywhere else, but on the West Coast, for the most part, you have your D.R. Hortons, your KB Homes, your Pulte Homes, you have your Toll Brothers, you have your Lion Homes, you have your Lennar Homes, right? You have all these homes. A lot of those homes are publicly traded. Lennar is publicly traded, D.R. Horton is publicly traded. These are home builders, right? So there was a Toll Brother home. There were two homes. One was a D.R. Horton. It was in Marble Canyon in 89149 in Las Vegas, Nevada. This house was going for $302,000. But scared money don't make no money. So I'm like, oh no, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that, and and self-doubt and writing loser scripts and just and this and that, and I just can't do it, and that, right? That house is now $700,000. $700. And at the time, I was working so much overtime, James. I was working so much goddamn overtime. I could have bought that house and it wouldn't have done anything. But self-doubt. lacking intrinsic value in who I am and what I'm capable of doing, right? So if you paid $300,000 for it, now it's worth $700,000. That's a $400,000 increase. Equity that would have been in my pocket. Now, here is the grand one of why I know scare money don't make no money. Shout out to my homegirl Jerica too, Las Vegas, Nevada. There was another home. It was a Toll Brother home, which is publicly traded. This house, the model, was on a cul-de-sac. It was going for $425,000. Pool in the backyard, quarter of an acre of land. I mean, just nice. Of course, self-doubt. Oh, no. And I'm making overtime. I mean, I'm working. I'm on the grind. This was before I did a podcast, any of that shit. This is when I was working 120 hours every 2 weeks. Like, I was doing pretty well. And self-doubt, no, right? That house is worth $1 million today. I'm gonna say it again, $425,000 for the model. They were selling the model for $425,000. The house is worth $1 million. And this wasn't even 10 years ago. The first house was 10 years ago. This house was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Not even 8. This is what happens when you have self-doubt, lack of intrinsic value, and don't believe in yourself. And me and my homegirl Jerica, we was talking about this shit, and she was like, Warren, scare money don't make no money. I was like, I know. Man, I fucked that up. So I'm telling you this to let you guys understand, like, man, sometimes you just got to believe in yourself, and you can't be worried about everybody else. You can't be worried about what everybody else is going to do and what lane they in. You just got to, 2 roads diverge in the yellow woods, and I took the one less traveled. And that's what you have to do. This is what I learned, because a lot of the times, the generation before us, they didn't teach us this. Like, even my mom, she would always say, go get a house, go get a house, go get a house, go get a house. And, you know, when my mom purchased her home, she bought a brand new home from the ground up. I think my mom felt at the time like the house wasn't good enough, but it was good enough because it was a home. But when you're so worried about everybody else appreciating your hard work, but you not appreciating it, it becomes a problem. And you're like, Warren, why are you talking about this? Because I'm going to say that Dr. Dre, you were already Dr. Dre before you met Eminem. You gave him an opportunity. He didn't give you one. You were already successful before you met this man. So I don't understand why you would need to hold him up in the air as if he's comparable to Snoop. Snoop Dogg is way more relatable than Eminem. We have to believe in ourselves. And when somebody gives you an opportunity, you seize that opportunity. But we also have to understand who we are in the process. And we can't Sambo, Coon, tell him about the Gunline Boss, Steve from Django, Hayward Shepherd. We can't be possessing those characteristics. You like, why you say that, Warren? Because when you start to take on those characteristics, it's going to show in your everyday life, you know? And I just don't think it's a good thing because it's setting a bad precedent for the generations coming behind us. But I feel like we're going to take it back with knowledge. And I suggest we start reading and start listening to people like James Youngblood and Dave for No Compromise. I can't wait till we do it live, man. I got to get some more paints for my brother David too. Because I'm going to hang him up in this room. Like, I'm very excited. Put his paintings all over this room and everything, man, because, you know, we have to start treating our people's work like platinum and gold and start cherishing it and start basically damn near making it an idol god. You're like, well, Warren, you're not supposed to have an idol god. What I'm saying is any type of work that a foundational Black American does, we got to cherish it. Like I said, I had some work done, water heater changed and stuff, and it was a black plumber. And yeah, he took a little longer, but I was very, very pleased that it was a black plumber. Just say like, oh no, a black plumber did this. You know, it was amazing. And you know, you can't do everything black, because black folk, we like Cassie, we got a long way to go. But what we have to start doing is having intrinsic value. We have to stand with our people in public and discipline them in private and chastise them in private. Even with the Diddy thing. I know a lot of people don't like what Diddy has done. And he hasn't done a lot of great things for black folk as far as raising black people's vibration. But what we have to do is raise our own vibration and start chastising people like Puff Daddy in private and standing with him in public like they do Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton and George Bush and George W. Bush and all these other white supremacists that have been presidents since the inception of the United States of America Incorporated. Why is it they stand with each other and be on code, as Nelly Fuller Jr. says all the time, or Dave from No Compromise says all the time, but when it comes to our people, we don't want to be on code. So I know a lot of people don't agree with taking a stance with Puff Daddy because of what he's done to his people, and that's what he get. Y'all right. I'm not saying y'all wrong. But what I'm saying is we have to establish a code because they got one. When's the last time you heard anybody talk about Ghislaine Maxwell? When's the last time you heard anybody talk about Harvey Weinstein? When's the last time you heard anybody talk about Danny Peterson, the dude that was raping all those women? You don't hear them talking about these people at all. But they'll keep bringing up R. Kelly. They'll keep bringing up Bill Cosby. They'll keep bringing up all these people that you don't even have no evidence on. People just making up stories. But when it comes to Harvey Weinstein, we got Harvey Weinstein on audio. Full court pressing some pussy. So, man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing, man. I know, I ain't been on in a minute. But now I'm back. And let's get it cracking. Guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace.